Hey guys, I wanted to show you my pretty geraniums. Aren't they shockingly puny? These are my geraniums that I put up for dormancy last fall. These have been in my heated basement in a brown paper bag. And last fall I shook off the dirt from the roots and I let it dry out. And then I popped them in the bag, and this is what they look like on March 6th. So they're not pretty yet, guys, but I have high hopes for some of these. I do see some growth. I just popped them in a minute ago into a little bit of shallow water, but if you look down here, you can see a very pale start of a growth point. You can just see that little leaf trying to grow, and that's a good sign as to when you should bring it out. Here's another one. There's a leaf coming out on the side. So these flowers are trying to grow, these plants. And over here too, they're very pale because they've been out of the light. But all of these are starting to show some life. I do have good hopes for these. I think these are my older geraniums, which have been into dormancy at least twice. But these seem to have a little more moisture in them. This batch definitely got more dried out, but I will put everything in water and we'll see what happens. But these seem to have more moisture and a little bit of a green color. You can see that the stem is fleshy. And this is because, like I said, these are my older geraniums. But I did want to address some controversy that my last video caused. When I put these up, there were a few people that were upset that these plants were going to be deprived of light and water. And I wanted to explain that dormancy is not a deprivation period so much as a resting period. And these plants, at least this set, these might be my new ones that I got last year. But these have come back 3 times, and this is one way to overwinter your geraniums. I will be showing in my next clip how a geranium looks when it's put next to a window in the winter. And in my case, I have terrible light, so it's not looking so great. But this is the way I do it to save space, and also I do it this way so I don't bring any bugs in. I make sure they're rinsed off and all the dirt is off them, and that way I'm not bringing soil that's been outside and perhaps pests. I have in the past brought plants in and found snakes in the house. So that's the last thing I want to do. But basically this is a space saver, and when you live in an area that has deciduous trees, all of those trees go into dormancy in the winter. And what that is a rest period where they're building energy and so that they can grow and bloom well the following year. So this, in effect, although it's a forced dormancy, and these can really live year-round in a warmer climate, are just resting. So I hope to come back. Today is March 6th, and I hope to come back in a week and show you the progress. But over the next 3 or 4 weeks, these should really turn into some nice little geranium plants that I can plant out once the danger of frost has passed in my area. But I did want to address that and just explain that I am not abusing my plants. And also, this is only one way of overwintering your geraniums. You do have choices. In my case, I didn't have the space to keep them all potted, and I didn't care to chance getting pests in my home. These have given me year after year. They turn into very healthy plants. And I'm saving myself a lot of money from buying new geraniums every year. It's nice when, in my area, they're actually annuals unless you bring them inside like I've done. I don't think I actually explained the process. All I have done here is taken them out of their paper bag and set the roots into a shallow bit of water. And I will be changing the water every day. And we'll just let those soak up some good hydration. And here we are. My geraniums are now potted up. I potted them up a few days ago. It is now March 18th, and they are really springing to life. I have them here with my tomato seedlings. And just as a side note, I did put a fan up so my seedlings could have some wind resistance. This is just a battery powered fan. You can recharge the battery. It's my husband's golf fan. But all the seedlings are blowing gently in the wind so that their stems will become stronger. But let me show you the topic here, and that is my beautiful geranium cuttings. Here they are. They've been all trimmed up and planted, and almost every one of them has little bits of green starting to emerge from the leaf nodes. So they are bursting out with leaves. And some of them are a little bit further along than others. This one has quite a few leaves. And although they look quite scrawny, they're going to be big, beautiful plants. They're really responding well to waking up. This one has lots of different leaves growing out of it. And I was able to trim them up and take some of the cuttings, which were green, and they weren't desiccated. They were just kind of leggy. But they were green and still firm. So I went ahead and put those pieces into some soil, and we'll see if those grow into their own geranium plants. Geraniums are very easy to grow from cuttings. So we'll see how those do, but in the meantime, almost all of my geraniums, I probably lost 2 that were completely dry and desiccated, but almost all of them have come back to life. This would be the 3rd year, at least, that I've brought these geraniums back to life. And of course they've been all trimmed up, but now that their roots are in the soil, they're going to turn into nice little plants again. And the nice thing about doing this is they're mature plants. They're going to put out leaves and get bushy quite quickly. By the time the last frost passes, in about 6 weeks, these will be in great shape to go in the garden. So I know they still look kind of puny now, but I just wanted you to see how much life is emerging from what looked like some dead sticks. It's quite a resurrection. Let me know if you do this down below in the comments. It's really satisfying to be able to save your geraniums from year to year, and of course it saves you a lot of money. If you're a geranium fan, you don't have to buy them every year. So I love to propagate them, and I love to save them every year. And as you can see, putting them into dormancy does not kill them. I would say I've only lost 2 plants out of about 11 or 12, and I've actually gained some plants with these cuttings. So I hope you'll try this too. And last year I did take them out of dormancy earlier in January, but obviously, you know, these are still alive, so that's probably maybe too long to wait. Maybe I should have done it sooner, but luckily I'm having good luck with it. And as a side note, I did save this white, I think this is a white geranium, in the pot. And although the stem looks a little thicker and healthier, it was very long and leggy and almost had no leaves whatsoever. So as you can see, bringing in a big pot of soil with a geranium in it doesn't look a heck of a lot better when you don't have a lot of light to put on it. So for me, to take them out of the soil and store them in paper bags is a lot more space efficient than having them this way. But I did trim this one down, and I took the cuttings and I popped them in the soil next to it, so hopefully I have a nice hanging plant to put out. But I really do prefer to put them into dormancy and store them in paper bags over the winter. So I just wanted to show you that comparison and show you they come out pretty similarly, at least around here, when you do leave them in soil. These were just living in paper bags for several months in my cool but heated house. It was in the basement area, so it was a little bit cooler, but they weren't outside, you know, in a shed or anything. But you could probably try this too, and I think you'll be pleased with the results. It's amazing to see the resurrection. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.